I'm Simone Walsh from NutriVerus Chef. Welcome back. Today's show is about making a very quick, very easy cheese pizza. I know a lot of you have been asking me, how do I get my kids to eat NutriVerus? Well, of course, NutriVerus has over 400 vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. We definitely want to get those in our kids' systems, but also please keep in mind that you should not feed NutriVerus to any children under 4 years old, and because they still are kids, you want to go ahead and get your children blood tested or see your physician before applying NutriVerus into any of their recipes, at least in quantity. All right, let's get going. What you'll need for this, if the camera can pan on in, we have spaghetti sauce. This is my mama's healthy spaghetti sauce. You can get this on NutriVerusChef.com. We have about, I'd say, 1/3 of a cup. Then we have shredded room temperature mozzarella cheese. I'll explain why in a minute. Thyme, garlic powder, a couple pinches of each, and 3 to 4 pinches of Italian seasoning. That's basil, oregano, to get that nice rich flavor in the pizza. Flour, and 16 ounces of dough. What you'll also need for this is a bowl and a spoon, but we don't need that now, so we're going to set that aside. And we're going to go ahead and take the raw dough and work it a little bit. I know that raw dough can be really intimidating, but it's actually not that hard to work with. Just make sure that you follow the directions. And if you get it store-bought, again 16 ounces, you'll want to make sure that it's at room temperature before you open up the package and go ahead and knead it onto your wood surface. So rolling that on is pretty easy. And definitely make sure that you have a lot of flour and a very comfortable shirt that you do not mind getting a little dirty as well. So we're going to go ahead and really knead this in. It doesn't take that long with store-bought pizza, which is what I like, or excuse me, store-bought dough. This sucker is already pretty ready. So basically you just punch it, and then this time I'm going to go ahead and punch the 4 corners if the camera wants to pan in. I'm going to go ahead and punch the 4 corners like this. Okay, and then I'm going to basically create a 12-inch diameter and just keep kneading it in. One of the things that I love about NutriVerus is you can sneak it into almost any dish and the kids will not notice. You just have to be sure to basically combine it with the right herbs and the right ingredients. You're not going to add the same ingredients to a turkey burger or a pizza as you would a fish cake or a soup. All right, so this is not the world's most perfect circle, but I told you we were going to make a quick pizza, and that's what we're doing. And it's funny how kids really do not mind. So you'll want to pull this out. Meanwhile, at this point, you'll really want to make sure that your oven is turned on to about 350 degrees, and you have a pan ready with some, you can just go ahead and spray some olive oil on there, or you can go ahead and put approximately half a tablespoon onto the pan, use a paper towel, and go ahead and spread the olive oil around. You want to be able to remove the pizza once it's done. Okay. Oops. And when you get it onto the surface, what you'll do is really push the corners up. So we're creating just a little bit of a crust. And just use this to, again, this is the quick way. If we had more time, and this wasn't about making a quick cheese pizza, then I would go ahead and show you how to go and to really work the dough out. But great thing with raw dough is you can work it very, very quickly, and get it into the oven. 350, 5 to 7 minutes. When we come back, I'll go ahead and show you how to top the pizza. All right, so we've gotten the pizza crust out of the oven. Now, if you're in a serious hurry, you don't necessarily have to use the pizza crust. What you can use, especially when kids are hungry, is use an actual piece of pita bread. I know several adults who've done that, and kids actually love it. But let's get back to this recipe. You'll see the pizza crust has actually risen a little bit. When that cools, I'm going to go ahead and punch it down a little bit. Meanwhile, what I'm going to do is grab my spoon, my bowl, and the spaghetti sauce. I'm just going to go ahead and, with the size of this, I'm using almost the entire third of a cup. Probably the equivalent of, I'd say, 3 to 4 tablespoons. Then what I'll do is I want to go ahead and put the NutriVerus in here. And you might ask, why don't we put all of the ingredients on the pizza and then cook it? Well, we can't cook the NutriVerus. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make darn sure that we keep this under 100 degrees. So what I'm doing is I'm actually putting it between the crust and between the cheese. So even though it's on the, or excuse me, in the oven for several more minutes while the cheese is melting, it's still protected. So you're not losing as many nutrients. Now, again, to taste, we have some thyme. Go ahead and add as much thyme as you'd like. I like about just a couple small pinches. And for me, I went ahead and I'll add a couple more small pinches of Italian seasoning. We really want to mix in that great herb, those great herbs with the robust flavor of the NutriVerus. I'll add a couple pinches of garlic powder. You can always add more if you like. Now, something that I love to add, you do not need to add, but again, if you've been watching me for some time, you know I love garlic. So I'm going to go ahead and grab probably approximately a teaspoon of fresh minced garlic, and I'm mixing it in. Just stir it up really quick. Very easy. Now take your fist and just punch it down really quickly if it rises. And we are adding the pizza sauce. I don't know about you, but I know a lot of kids do not like a lot of pizza sauce. So we're just going to add the medium amount here. You can always add more if you'd like. And if you'd like a really, really healthy sauce, again, check out my Mama's Healthy spaghetti sauce. My mom was an incredible health nut throughout my childhood, and she actually added up, she would grind up, which now we can food process, zucchini, bell peppers, and tofu to add that protein and to add just terrific, not only flavor, but nutrition to the spaghetti sauce. So if you really want to amp up your nutrition, go ahead and add that too. We're going to add a light layer here of room temperature mozzarella. Why room temperature mozzarella? Because we want this to melt as fast as possible. One, without the collection of oils, which cold mozzarella has a tendency to do when it goes from cold to hot into the oven. And we want to make sure that we are not corrupting the value of the NutriVerus. So go ahead and add as much cheese as you'd like. What I'm going to do is I always want a little more Italian seasoning over it. And the kids don't mind. You'd be surprised. They do not mind fresh and dried herb most of the time. So then what we're going to go ahead and do is put this in for another 5 minutes on 350, and we'll have a pizza. So we've pulled the pizza out of the oven, set that down, and now if the camera can go ahead and pan in, we've pulled the pizza out of the oven. I like to, again, this is your choice, I love adding more Italian seasoning. And then, of course, for those of you who really want to get all the nutrition, the vitamins, the minerals, the antioxidants, in your pizza, or excuse me, on top of your pizza, go ahead and use any salt shaker. Most salt shakers, by the way, are for sale in grocery stores for about 50 cents to $1. Pour the NutriVerus in there and just lightly shake it over the pizza. And with the herbs, kids can barely, if ever, tell that this pizza is loaded with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and nutrients that will help their bodies grow. Thank you so much for joining us once again today on NutriVerusChef.com for this and more recipes. Please hop on my blog. Again, that's NutriVerusChef.com. Thanks so much.